So Donald Trump, as we've been noting on this channel, has gotten increasingly desperate with regard to his low polling numbers and his low approval rating. And he knows that if everything holds right now, and there's not a guarantee that it will, but if it does, he's likely going to lose in less than 100 days. And so his new narrative that he's been pushing for the last couple weeks, including this morning, is that Joe Biden is a quote-unquote Trojan horse for Bernie Sanders and the radical left. This morning he said, sleepy Joe Biden is just a Trojan horse for the radical left agenda. He will do whatever they want, exclamation point, which again is not true. It's just not. It shows the sheer delusion and or disingenuousness, maybe both, from Donald Trump and his campaign. This is really something they're trying to lean into. If you watch Fox News and other shows, Trump surrogates, Trump staffers are going on air saying that you're not electing Joe Biden, you're electing Bernie Sanders. Trump and his campaign, they actually put out an ad a couple weeks ago, which basically took a scene from the movie Troy, where the Greek Trojan horse is snuck into the city, and on the horse, it's a Photoshop picture of Biden, and the troops inside, the Greek troops inside, are Photoshopped with the faces of Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, AOC, I think maybe Rashida Tlaib is in there. You know what I mean? It's got all of the big names on the left that are in the Democratic Party or associated with the party, and that's who you're actually electing, quote unquote. But it's just not true. We've seen Joe Biden make it very clear that while he did engage in those task forces with Bernie Sanders and he's made some minor compromises, the party has made it absolutely crystal clear that they are rejecting the left. We saw them openly reject, just for one example, Medicare for all, even though basically 90% of the Democratic Party base and a majority of people now support Medicare for all in the United States. And the party has said no because they're not actually working for Bernie Sanders or regular working class Americans. They're working for Joe Biden and his donors. You've also been seeing that since Bernie Sanders dropped out of the race and endorsed Biden, billionaire dollars absolutely flood into the Biden campaign coffers and into pro-Biden super PACs and other groups. I covered it, last week on the channel. And the people were making it very clear. The reason this is happening now is because, one, Biden looks like he might end up being the winner, and you always want to give money to the person that ends up being president. But two, Bernie's out. He's not a risk anymore. There's no chance that Bernie's going to become the nominee and that, they're going to end up donating money that's going to help elect a Democratic socialist. Ergo, a safe corporate center-right to right-wing, in some cases, Democrat, Joe Biden is on the ticket, and therefore we're safe giving our millions to him. We're safe giving our tens of millions to him. And that's very clear that Bernie is not inside the Trojan horse. There is no Trojan horse. Joe Biden is running a very safe neoliberal campaign based on a return to normalcy, trying to forget that the consequences of the 2008 crisis and Donald Trump's elections matter, and that we could just pretend that America has no issues and that we're all fine and that we can go back to normal, blah, 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 blah. I think that's BS. Joe Biden seems to think he can win an election on that, and maybe he can. But that's not a Trojan horse, quote unquote, to sneak in Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC into the White House. It just isn't. It just isn't. You've seen a lot of corporate insiders. I don't know if they have direct connections to the Biden campaign and to Biden advisors, but what they're telling their clients, corporate analysts, corporate forecasters, is that in reality, we don't expect Joe Biden to implement any of the major economic policies from the task forces. That he's made that list of policies with Bernie Sanders, the Bernie and Biden camp work together, but that ultimately, once in power, he won't implement any of those things that actually will make a substantive difference. We all remember, I say it seemingly every couple weeks on this channel, this was the man that said to donors in a bigwig room, giving him a lot of money, nothing will fundamentally change when I'm president. That's not a Trojan horse for the left. That's a standard neoliberal Democratic Party talking point. Simple as that. We also have to remember that Joe Biden, one of his biggest newfound backers, are the Lincoln Project people. And if you don't know who they are, they're mostly George Bush Jr. era Republicans, George W. Bush era Republicans that did absolutely heinous things to people when they were in power, but have supposedly seen too much from Donald Trump and they can't support him, so they're now with Joe Biden. These are the people that are the Trojan horse. If anyone is the Trojan horse for the Biden campaign, it's not Bernie, AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. It's not them. It's not them at all. If there's a Trojan horse, it's George Bush era Republicans that will find their way into the Biden administration, either formally or informally, out in the open or in secret. They're the Trojan horse. Progressives want Bernie's policies, but they want to stop Donald Trump as well. And Biden knows he's sort of trapped these people so he can get the votes and support of progressives and just stack the room full of neoconservatives and neoliberals, some people that did awful things 10, 15 years ago and, have never actually atoned or faced consequences for their actions. And that's going to be who Biden sneaks in. That's what it's going to be. Trump's strategy makes no sense here. To the extent that even if it could work, it would only backfire. Let's say people actually believed this story. I think a lot of the never Trump Republicans, he's lost those people. They're done with him. I don't think they're going to be persuaded by a Trojan horse argument. Again, those people know that they're the ones inside the Biden Trojan horse, not Bernie Sanders and the other progressives, the squad, you know what I mean? But if it was effective, all it would do, in my opinion, would be to legitimize Biden amongst skeptical people on the left. If there's one group of people he hasn't won over yet, people that may end up voting for him, I don't think they're going to be Trump voters, but the real risk is that they don't vote or they vote third party, are young people and leftists, especially young progressives. Those people are the ones that, aren't Trump voters, but the risk is they won't be Biden voters either. Biden wants those people. And what's one of the ways to convince those people to support Joe Biden, to actually get out and volunteer, would be that Joe Biden is actually a front for Bernie Sanders. My God, you can ask my audience. Guys, let me know in the comments of this video. Let me know. How sweet would it be if what Republicans said about Joe Biden was even 10% true? That if Biden was even 5, 10, 15% as progressive and ambitious as they suggest, that if Joe Biden was even 10% likely, 1% likely to be a Trojan horse for Bernie Sanders, wouldn't you be so much more excited for Biden? Wouldn't you actively not hate Biden, but, want to work for him? If this was true, wouldn't it actually be an election where progressives have a choice that doesn't make them want to barf their lunch up? Would that be the case? And I think, from my perspective, it would be. So you can keep saying, Donald, and the Donald Trump campaign, that Joe Biden's a secret Trojan horse for the left, but that's not convincing anybody. If it does convince anybody, it'll only unify progressives under Biden. And remember this, guys, and this is to everybody, especially to a lot of people that don't think Biden's going to be that bad of a president. The real Trojan horse are anti-Trump Republicans. Once Biden's in office, they're going to be the ones running the show.